Yes, yes. All right. Uh, Trying out new camera and seeing what comes out of this. So I am titling this short little video here why I'm voting for Biden. And think for most sane people, it should be very obvious why anyone would vote for Biden in this situation. Um, the first and I think the most important reason that we should all be voting for Biden is simply this coronavirus situation. I mean, I cannot think of anyone handling this crisis is in any worse way than Trump. I mean, literally the bare minimum that you had to do as a human being, as a leader, as a president, was just to say, "Hey, people, be safe, wear a mask." Um, you know, uh, Believe in what the health experts are saying, and this guy did the exact opposite. That is unforgivable. It's cost lives. It's made it so that we literally haven't had any. I mean, we haven't even really had waves. We've just had one wave really of coronavirus, and it's just been nonstop problems since like what, March. So yeah, it's unforgivable the way that this president has handled the coronavirus. Is Yep, he doesn't deserve 4 more years just on that alone. Just on that alone. I don't need to, if you don't like, if you're not into Trump, I'm not gonna, be telling you anything new. And I know if you already like Trump, I'm also not gonna really try to convince you. But I did want to bring up that one issue though, and that's just the handling of coronavirus. Just I think it's the most pressing and important issue for most people right now, and there's no way, absolutely no way you can look at this situation and say, "Oh wow, this guy handled it in the best possible way." Um, you know, so that's uh that's one reason. Um, I just want to know, I think a lot of people are like myself. I have absolutely zero faith in Joe Biden to be a good president. None, zero. I think he was probably out of the Democratic candidates my last choice of the people that ran. But you know, part of the reason that I'm gonna in the past, what I've done is I've lived, in pretty safe blue states my whole life. I've lived in Boston. I've lived in Boston, Massachusetts, California, and then I lived in Colorado. And what I've done pretty much my entire time that I've been able to vote since 2004 election is that I have wrote in candidates or voted third party. Um, I've never really had a candidate to vote for that I actually believed in when it came down to the presidential election. Um, so this election, why am I going to do something different? Why am I going to actually vote for Joe Biden, even though I have very, very little faith in him? In part, I think it's a symbolic act for me. I think that it. I deeply believe in the will of the people and the democratic process. Um, I think we have a lot of problems and a lot of corruption that are stopping the will of the people and the democratic process. But for the most part, what I know is that my guy Bernie Sanders lost. He didn't have enough support in this country to win the Democratic primary. and it's a hard pill to swallow. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, they cheated, they did that, this or that," but frankly, I just think people don't like the guy, and they didn't vote for him, and Biden won, unfortunately. So I think it's important to affirm what the will of the people decided, in the way in that I'm not like I think what I'm trying to say is with an act of voting for Biden, I'm trying to affirm that I'm listening to what the country is saying, I'm listening to what other people are saying, and I'm not so above or better than the rest of the country, if that makes sense. Um, well, it's actually it's hard. It's there's a lot of layers to this, but I think one of the problems with being a radical leftist, right, is that we think we're so much smarter and woker than the rest of the country. We think that we know better, and I think that there is, yes, like I do still believe that in some ways, I think I know better than the majority of the country. Um, and at the same time, I think that you have to respect where people are at and trust that they will get there. If you listen to them, they will get to where you want them to be. Um, and yeah, I think that right now, Biden is where this country's at. Sadly, Biden is where we are at. We are a moderate kind of, almost on many issues, right-leaning country, on some issues left-leaning country, but we're a moderate country. And if you look at issues, for instance, should we defund the police? I think you'll find overwhelmingly this country says no, we're not going to defund the police. If you look at another issue like healthcare, overwhelmingly, I think people want universal care or more affordable healthcare in this country. So it's not so easy to say that country is left leaning or right leaning. This country is complicated and really, but if you look at it in the aggregate, it's a moderate country, and I think that in a more sane, if the conversations being had in the political sphere were more sane, you would see a more left-leaning country, I believe. I think for the most part, this country would be more in favor of unions, more uh, not in favor of wars, more in favor of universal healthcare, more in favor of education, more in favor of doing something about climate change. I think for the most part, this country would, if the conversation again was sane, we would have a more left-leaning country. However, I think right now our um, organisms or our sense-making organisms are not, they're not operating. They're not, the media, our schools, politicians, everything that helps us to make sense of what's happening in the world is off. And so what we're seeing is confusion, people operating not from their best interests, people operating from fear, out of just blatant misinformation, conspiracy theories, all this stuff you're seeing because essentially people are being misled and misguided. And that needs to be fixed. That's one of the first things that we need to be fixed. And let me tell you, I don't trust Joe Biden or anyone. I mean, especially not our current president. to change that. I think that that is going to have to be a grassroots led movement, because no one in power right now seems to be interested in actually creating a sane environment. So yeah, anyways, going back to Biden. Right now we need a little bit of respite from this craziness. We need Biden is promising take this pandemic serious. That's a good starting point. Biden is promising, for instance, some relief from student debt. I think a Biden administration is going to probably release some stimulus packages. You know, we haven't had one since March. This should be the most important issue right now in everybody's mind. I mean, we have people, the bottom of this country, the people at the bottom of this country in terms of socioeconomics are really suffering right now, and not just them, but anybody that just is unlucky enough to be in industry that was affected by this virus, right? Whether it's entertainment or hospitality, whatever. And we desperately need to do something about this. There's really nothing that's more important right now, and it's absolutely criminal that the Trump administration has done what it's done so far. Absolutely criminal, um, unbelievable. I can't believe how badly they've handled this thing. So yeah, I feel like the Biden administration, I hope, I do trust, I do have some confidence that they're going to deal at least with that in a better way. And honestly, when you're in a desperate situation, the most important thing is just to get some breathing room. Get some breathing room. Get the boot off your neck, and so that you can at least make some moves, make some movements towards something better. But right now, with the Trump administration and him doing everything possible to just screw everything up, it's really hard to have respite. It's really have to have that breathing room to actually make good decisions. So, so yeah, that's really, I mean, honestly, if that's really my only case for Biden, is that he is going to deal with this current pressing issue better than Trump. Um, and overall, I think the country is going to be in a better, more sane place with Orange Man gone. And yep, that is it. This is no glowing endorsement of Biden. It's just to say that he's better. He's better than Trump. That's it. Um, so, anyways, there's actually a lot more I could say, but I'm gonna stop it here just because this was mostly like a test run. I want to see how the audio is, and just see how this came out. So I'm gonna stop this here. Thank you if you're listening, and yeah, have a good night.